I created this tier list, but basically what I want to do is I want to rank these foods based on what's the best food. See, I keep moving the mic. What is the best food, I guess, to flirt over, and what's the worst food to flirt over? What I mean by that is, like, if you're trying to be flirtatious, you're trying to come off as sexy and maybe mysterious, or you're trying to win someone over, you're trying not to be aloof, you're trying to just be kind of, trying to give off a little bit of your personality over a bite to eat with someone, as you would do if you met someone for the first time at a bar that serves food, or if you're on a Tinder date or something like that. Obviously, some thought has to go into what you're gonna eat if you're going out to dinner or anything like that. And part of the thought is, well, how exactly am I gonna visually present myself to this person while we're chowing down on some food? Like, what food presents the best? And I thought about this because of we'll get to it when I get to that particular food item. Oh man, I just literally dumped as much food as I can think of on here. A lot of this I've never even tried before, like fucking crawfish. I'm automatically gonna put crawfish in the F tier because crawfish is disgusting. It's just gross to smell. Eating it, the process of eating it is like, it's fucking alien. You gotta crack their heads off and suck the meat out from the neck hole, and you've got just a pile of corpses just spread out before you, and you're just like it's fucking gross in like the best possible lighting. I can't imagine that, like, sitting across from someone with one of these fucking giant swamp roach things, cracking their heads open and sucking out the goo. I can't imagine that would be attractive to anyone, but I guess maybe to people who grew up in the bayou, they find that shit hot. I don't know. For me, it's fucking disgusting. Flirtatious or not, it's just disgusting in general. I don't like crawfish. So I'll get that out the way right there. French fries, though? I mean, there is nothing inherently, like, sexy or attractive about a French fry. But it isn't really messy either. Like, I guess maybe if you had loaded fries or something, the kind of fries you have to eat with a fork. But I mean, if you're just dipping a fried ketchup or something, then, it's a finger food, it's playful. There's nothing... It kind of reads as I feel like maybe in my view it reads a little bit as non-committal, because it's not like an entree. It's very much so like a side or an appetizer. So it's very non-committal. You're here for a good time, not a long time, with the side of fries. So I think that's kind of what that portrays. If it's oily or greasy, then yeah, it could be a little messy, but it's not disgusting messy. It's just like, oh, those are some greasy fries. I think B is probably a good spot for this. I think because it's not an entree, I would keep it from like the A tier. This is dim sum. I'm putting this at A. I love dim sum. I think anything that's like finger foody, little small plates and stuff like that, I think that's a pretty good way to go. You get a wide variety of things. It kind of portrays a sense of open-mindedness and adventurousness and explorability, in someone. And I've never had any particular piece of dim sum that was like gross or messy or anything like that. So you don't have to fear that or anything. Like, I generally think that's a pretty good... And the same thing goes for tapas, which I think I also have on here somewhere. I think it's this one. Yeah, I'm also going to put that in the same spot. A hoagie. Oh, man, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever experienced that before. Flirting with someone over a hoagie. It seems kind of unwieldy, right? It's just a giant wad of meat for this particular image. So I don't know how you would be... I mean, sandwiches are delicious. Let's just get that right out of the way. If you have a big sandwich like this, it can go either way. Like, if you've got a lot of sauce and stuff and it's just dripping out the side and it's all over your hands and it's smearing all over your face and you're just taking monster bites out of it, I could see how that could be off-putting. But if it's not like that kind of a sandwich, like maybe if it's something a little smaller, a little bit more quote unquote artisan, then maybe I can see, you can be playful with the sandwich. It's still kind of a finger food. You hold it with your hand. It's easy going. It's not like a big commitment type of thing. It's a very easygoing kind of meal. I'm gonna put it at C. I think I like that. It's a working class meal too. It doesn't have it unless you get one of those fancy sandwiches. It doesn't have an air of pretentiousness about it. Very down to earth meal. This is a take me as I am. I ain't a bad guy, but take me as I am sort of meal. Soup. Have I ever had soup? I don't think I have. Have I ever had soup on a date? I don't think I ever have. I don't know how that would... I think that... And I should have put ramen on here too, or some kind of noodle. I think anything that might require you to slurp, in my personal opinion, that's bad juju. I don't like slurp. I don't like the slurping sounds. I don't like wet mouth sounds. Even though soup can be quite delicious, I don't really quite know. Maybe if you're like in a colder climate. Maybe if you're like in a really snowy, cold environment, you could do some good flirtation with a steamy soup. But from my experience, soup is something best enjoyed by yourself in a dark room. Pizza, on the other hand, I'm gonna put this up. It's probably actually A. I'm gonna put this in the S tier. Pizza's pretty awesome. Like, you can't really go wrong with pizza in general, but then it has like the finger food quality as you eat it with your hands. It can be messy, but for whatever reason, it's kind of like the messiness of a pizza is kind of acceptable, more so than like, some of these other things. And it's just, everybody loves pizza. It's just fun to eat. It's fun to chow around. It's one of the few foods that you can just pig out on and everybody is just okay with that. It's like a socially acceptable gluttony food. So like, I feel like if you're eating pizza on a date or being flirtatious with someone, you're kind of sending out a signal that, you're not a judgmental person. You're here for fun. You're here to have a good time. You're here to enjoy some shit. Let's get with it. Let's get busy on this thing. I've got a full pizza here, and I want all of it to be gone by the time that we're done with our conversation. That's what pizza kind of says to me. Lasagna? Man, lasagna. I'm like Garfield. Lasagna is one of my favorite foods. I don't know if I'd ever want to I can't imagine a scenario where you're like being flirtatious over lasagna though. I guess maybe if you had a... And it's kind of the same, I think I have it on here too. It's kind of the same with like spaghetti. Yeah, like, you know what? I'm gonna put that in a D. Because like if someone's trying to hit on you while you're eating spaghetti, then it's like a wine mom at a fucking Olive Garden. Like, get out of here with that. Like, it's a plate of spaghetti. It's got the same kind of issue with the soup where you're like slurping noodles and stuff, and there's like pasta sauce, you're getting cheese everywhere. It's an ordeal, spaghetti. I would not put that in a flirtatious food category. And I think lasagna, a little bit the same. Like, you don't have the slurping or anything, but, okay, so I'll put it in the C. It's pretty much the spaghetti without the slurping. Breakfast. Well, oftentimes if you're enjoying a breakfast flirtatiously with someone, you've already kind of gone a good way with that. But breakfast is fun. Breakfast is always fun. You get a variety of things, whether it's bacon or eggs or pancakes or waffles or grits or migas or anything else like that. Like, it's kind of almost like the tapas, really. In fact, I'm gonna rank it the same. I like breakfast. Breakfast is a fun experience. And it's always fun to figure out, like, what did you grow up eating for breakfast? Like, what's your breakfast thing? And then, like, you can figure out a lot about a person in that regard. So I think breakfast is secretly elite in that category. Nachos. Nachos are tricky. I would put nachos pretty low, just because, like, if you're eating nachos at a bar, you got to pay attention to your nachos, because if you're not, you're going to end up eating like a naked tortilla after a naked tortilla after a naked tortilla chip, and then eventually you're going to get like a 6-pound chip that has everything on it. So you got to pay attention to like your toppings equity on your chips, which makes it a little tough, because also it's messy. It is messy. It's just as messy as, you know, some of these other ones down here. So you got to pay attention to it. It's really messy, but I guess if you're sharing nachos with someone, you can find out about what kind of person they are. Like, if they're selfish, then they're just going to be focusing on getting all of the toppings on their chips and leaving you with the naked chips. So you can probably figure out a person's selfishness with some nachos there, if you can abide the mess and the concentration required to eat these nachos. I'm gonna put it at C. Crab legs. Ooh, I love crab legs, but I've never really eaten them with anyone other than like my parents, because I never made them by myself. I don't even know how to really actually make crab legs. I should figure it out one day though. But I feel like this might also be like pretty off-putting to eat with someone. It's very monstrous. Like, you have to rip the shell off and pull the meat out and dip it in butter and shit, and like, and there's a lot. You have to do it over and over again. It's repetitive. Maybe that kind of has like a tapas kind of quality to it, but, you know, I'm gonna put it right here just because crab legs are delicious, and it's not like an everyday thing. So it's kind of like a special, like, you're not just casually running into someone eating crab legs. Like, something's going on there for that to happen. So for that reason, I'm gonna put it at a C. I think these are all like your caution. This is caution. Be cautious when you're flirting while eating these foods. Hot dogs? I mean, I guess that kind of depends on who you are, huh? You can be very flirtatious with some hot dogs. And, you know, if they aren't dripping with chili or relish or anything like that, you know, there's a possibility that the flirtation might work. So I'm going to put hot dogs at B. I'm going to put that at B along with the French fries. It's good old American fare. This is the American column so far. Fried chicken. Oh, man. D. I love fried chicken, but it's super greasy and messy. And then eating it is also, it's kind of like, it's hard to be flirtatious when you're like ripping into like a boned flesh animal. Like, it's tough. It's a tough sell, I think. I guess maybe the setting kind of, it depends on the setting too. Maybe if you're at like a picnic or a cookout or something, and there's like a bunch of fried chicken going around, maybe you could sit down with a couple of pieces and be able to kind of casually enjoy it. But then when you're sitting there with that naked bone, you've got a naked bone with like bits of flesh hanging off of it still. It's tough. This is a tough one. I think I'm gonna keep it at D. This is the cautionary tale column here. Lobster. Ooh. Lobster's kind of like it's a little bit of a show-offy sort of thing. I think it's kind of in a similar vein to crab legs, but it doesn't require that much work. You just basically have to rip the tail off, and then you have a bunch of delicious meat. You know what? I'm gonna put this with the tapas and stuff. I think lobster is pretty underrated in that regard. I never really had the chance to like have lobster. Have I had lobster on a date? Maybe I have. I just can't remember. But I feel like it wouldn't be there. It's not as messy as some of this other stuff. I think it's relatively neat. It's kind of like an upgrade from the crab, and it kind of presents with like an opportunity to have some pretty interesting conversations about, you know, seafood, different types of seafood. Seafood is a pretty good entryway to figuring out someone's comfort level with being explorative, adventurous, explorative, whatever word I want to use there. Oh, let's see. Tacos. Well, I mean, in Texas, this is S tier. It can be messy, but everyone loves tacos. And there's a huge variety of tacos. And again, it's one of those things where, it can lead to some conversation. You can figure out the type of person by what kind of taco they get. Are they getting a fish taco? Are they getting like a beefy taco? Is it al pastor or what not? You can get a lot of information from a taco. And the mess that a taco can make is one of the rare forgivable messes. So I think taco is a pretty good bet, especially down here in Texas. Oh, this is Thai curry. I'm gonna put this in the cautionary tale. I love Thai curry. It's also messy. It can be messy. It can also get you, like, if it's a spicy one, you're not ready for it, or you can't handle your spice. You can get you can get sweaty. You don't really want to sit there sweating over your food. That's never a good look. But if it's Thai done right, then it can be an amazing experience. Just as far as enjoying your food is concerned, not necessarily something I consider like something you would flirt with somebody over. Oh, family style Chinese. Okay, this is good in a group setting. So like maybe if you were in part of a group and there was somebody in that group that you were into, and you were both at this table, and there's food just spinning around on that lazy Susan. I mean, it would be pretty tough though, like in a group setting like that, because it's not like you're just randomly meeting people at a bar or something. Like there's a whole lot of people going on. There's a lot of interactions. Like you got to know how to play. You got to know how to play the table, and you got to know. You gotta know how to play the table. And a part of that also, especially with these family style things, is figuring out who your finisher is. I used to do Chinese style lunch outings at BioWare with a group there, and we always knew who our finisher was. And basically the finisher is like when everybody's stuffed, but there's still food on the plates, on the Susan, that person, it goes to them, and they scrape it on their plates and they finish it off. So if you're the finisher, that might be tough for you. It might be a pretty tough look. If they're the finisher, depending on what you like in a person, that could be a tough look. I love Chinese, family style Chinese, but I don't know if I can rank it that high. I think I'm going to put it... It's fun, though. It's a lot of fun, though, especially when you get a wide variety of different stuff. So I'm going to put it here. The cautionary tale. Shepherd's pie. You're going to have to talk to someone from Ireland about that. I love shepherd's pie, but I mean, how do you flirt over it? It seems kind of like it would be in the same kind of quality as soup, right? I'm going to put it there just because I don't know where else to put it. A burrito, I'm going to put that under the taco. I feel like you could have fun with it, but it's not quite a taco. It's almost a taco, but not quite a taco. I'll put that under there. Meatloaf. F. And hopefully I don't need to explain that. Like, if you're flirting with someone over meatloaf, then you're likely flirting with your mom. Alright, fried rice. You know what? I like fried rice a lot, and I feel like if you're eating good fried rice, then you're probably at a place, it could be that you're at a place with somebody on a date. Fried rice isn't exactly like a bar food or anything like that, but it could be. I don't know. Maybe there's some bars out there that have it. I think you could show people how dexterous you are with your fingers using chopsticks on some fried rice. So I think there's a little trick there. It's not super messy. I guess it could be if you're bad with chopsticks or whatever, or if you eat with a fork, you can maybe come across, I don't know, maybe to some people you can come across as inelegant or something. But at the worst, I don't think fried rice at its worst is as bad as like crawfish or spaghetti or even a giant hoagie. I'm gonna put it here. The American column is broken up now by fried rice. I think it's a good one. I think it's a good one because you're still working with your fingers a lot. And it's kind of like a finger food quality to it in that regard if you're using chopsticks. So I think that's a good one. Barbecue. Oh man, a Texas staple. And there are bars here that will have some barbecue. You know, if they have a truck out back or something. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to put that on the F tier. Because it's just so messy. It's so messy and sloppy, and there's so much going on. Like, you've got to be comfortable. You got to be comfortable with the person you're flirting with if you're eating barbecue, because it's gonna get pretty grisly. And there's just so much going on. They always have like the paper towels to wipe yourself down with, and it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Like, it's, should it be D though? I don't want to put it. I'm gonna put it at D. Because it is delicious. You can still enjoy it, not look like a monster, or with the way you would with like crawfish. Steak. I can't even imagine a scenario. I guess maybe if you bellied up to the bar at like Eddie V's or something, and some drunken lawyer stumbles up next to you and starts hitting on you. I guess that's a situation where you'd be eating a steak and also flirting with someone. But other than that, this is really more of an intimate meal sort of thing. Like, you're taking your date to Eddie V's and you're eating the steak with them. And yeah, you can be flirtatious over that, but that's kind of a different thing, right? Like, I don't know how you would... What, you're just gonna elegantly cut into your steak, playfully play with a wad of meat at the end of your fork? It's a steak, it's delicious, it has to be savored and enjoyed in its entirety without having to, like, you know, perform for somebody that's just trying to get laid. Ooh, I mean, it can be really good too, though. Unless you're at like a Denny's or something, but then if you're getting hit on at a Denny's while eating a steak, you've probably already taken an L for the night, so I'm gonna put that at a D. Salad. I mean, a salad will kind of communicate that you're health conscious. It's inherently messy. Eating a salad is bringing form to a mess on your fork and then just kind of eating that. So I guess a salad kind of conveys a certain level of control and discipline that is necessary for you. Like, you're the kind of person that enjoys bringing order to chaos while, you know, looking after for your personal health or whatever. Can you flirt while eating a salad? Well, I mean, there are so many commercials and marketing images of women laughing while eating salads, so clearly something wild and hilarious is going on while you're eating a salad. I don't know if I want to... It's not a D. It's not a D. Is it a cautionary tale, though? No, it's not. It's not. It's not. You know what? I'm going to put it at a B. I'm going to put it at a B. I think you can be okay with a salad. Sushi, that's up there. That's the same as this other stuff. And that is the reason why it's a date night staple. It has all of the same variety of the tapas. It has all the playfulness of like your finger foods. It's not super messy unless like you just rip a roll of sushi apart like an animal. There's a lot of positive for sushi. It has all the same seafood qualities of the lobster, like being able to see like how adventurous and exploration driven somebody is based on how much they're willing to venture into like the weird roll or sushi territory. There's a lot going on with sushi. It's a good one. There's a reason why it's a top tier date thing. Put that up at the A list. The only reason why it's not S tier, you know what? I'm putting it at S tier. I love sushi. It is S tier. A hamburger. It can be... A hamburger is never as, like, daunting as, like, a giant hoagie, right? Unless it's, like, a triple patty burger or something like that. Actually, that's not true. I've had some... I guess if you're at a bar, some bars, the burgers they make are giant patties with all sorts of stuff on it. It can be pretty daunting. It can be pretty greasy and messy, too. I guess it really depends on the burger then, huh? But if you've got like this burger looks fairly neat, even though there's like a little drop next to it. Looks like it's a fairly neat burger. Can you be playful with a neat burger? when you're done, there's nothing left. So that's helpful. That's helpful. But you know what? I'm gonna put it C. It's C. It's caution. It can be done, but be careful. That's basically what this column is. This column is it can be done, but be careful. Indian food. Oh man, that's also a caution. Like, it can be done, but be careful. Like, it's delicious. It's very adventurous depending on where you're going. There's an Indian place down the street from me that I absolutely love. And I remember working at a company a while ago. We had a guy from India on a work visa, and he was exploring Austin for the first time and talking about different things and whatnot. And I was telling him, I was like, you know what? Like, there's this Indian place near my house I really love. It's called, like, I told him the name of it. And he goes, oh yes, that place is really good. It's very authentic and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, that's awesome then, because like I had the sense that it was like super authentic. But every time I go there, I'm always the only non-Indian person in there. It's like always packed with people. And like I'm the only non-Indian person that walks into that joint. And it's delicious. It's amazing. But I made the mistake of getting their biryani one day. And it was just so crazy spicy that it literally, I'm pretty certain it was responsible for like a multiple month long stomach ordeal that I had that ended up with me getting gallbladder surgery. Like, it was rough. Like, it caused a really bad acid reflux thing in me that I couldn't eat for a month solid. I lost a lot of weight. Like, it was rough. And I've never eaten that biryani since. I've been back to that place. They have amazing korma. I wish I could remember how to pronounce it. It's like korma novaratama or something like that. Amazing. Like, oh, their tandoori chicken's awesome too. But it is a cautionary tale. Some of that stuff can be super messy. Some of it, super spicy. Some of it, you're eating meat off the bones, which, if you're trying to be flirtatious, you got to be cautious with that too. Actually, I'll speak to that on this last one, because this last one is the thing that prompted this whole thing altogether. I was making my homemade wings, and I love my homemade wings, and I was thinking about, like, I remember when I used to go to this bar down the street, and they have 25-cent wing night, and I went there one day after work. It was a particularly rough week of work, and all I wanted to do was enjoy their 25-cent wing night, and I was enjoying, like, their 25-cent wing night, and just not really doing anything but unwinding. I remember as I was digging into these wings, like, some random woman came up to me and like just started hitting on me, and I had no interest to begin with, but like on top of that, I had like these wings in my hands, and like I was just digging into them like a and I had like wing sauce all over my face and wing sauce dripping off of my fingers, and like pieces of chicken flesh like flayed about the bones, and I had a pile like in front of me. I had like a little pile of stripped naked chicken bones, it looked like a hyena's den right there on my plate in front of me. And I'm sitting here hunched over, like eating these wings with all this mess all over me. And she was like flirting with me, and like I'm sure I had orange tinged teeth and everything. I was like, this is the worst possible situation to be in. Like, I can't imagine an environment in which I would feel less attractive or less flirtatious than sitting here eating a giant pile of buffalo wings. And it was like the grossest I've ever felt in my life. And again, I wasn't attracted to the woman. I didn't want to flirt with her. I just wanted to watch football and eat wings. But like, at that moment, I was just so horrendously self-conscious. It was awful. It was an awful experience. And I was like, what the fuck made you think that going up to someone eating a giant pile of like saucy ass wings was the appropriate time to like be flirtatious with them? Like, it is the least sexy thing in the world. It is definitely F tier. It is the F tier that spawned this whole thought process of mine. Like, what food is acceptable? Like, what food would be, because chicken wings definitely are not acceptable. Like, if you see somebody eating buffalo wings or whatever at a bar and you want to flirt with them, don't. At the very least, wait until they're done eating. Like, if they're done eating and they go to the bathroom and wash their hands and stuff, and they sit back down, they start watching, okay, give it a second. Let them drink a little bit to wash that orange tinge off their teeth, and then go and use your pickup lines or whatever. But don't sit over there. Don't go over there while they're just sitting there and trying to rip flesh off of a pile of bones and then start being like, hey, how's your night going? Like, don't do that. Don't do that. It'll end poorly for everyone involved. So reminiscing on that moment is what made me be like, okay, what food actually is okay then? Like, obviously bars, a lot of bars out there sell a lot of food. Like, what actually would be acceptable to, like, you know, be a little bit flirtatious with? Pizza? I think pizza's top notch. Tacos, again, top notch, and sushi, obviously. And I've gone, there's a sushi place up here that I absolutely love that I've gone to by myself at times too. And I sat right up at the sushi bar and spend way too much money just pointing to random things on the chalkboard and trying it out. And, you know, there have been several times when people, like, I wouldn't say flirtatious, it wasn't like anything like that, but, you know, people strike up a conversation with you while you're sitting at the sushi bar just trying a bunch of different types of sushi. Like, it can be a very social thing a very social meal, whether you're with somebody or not. So definitely S tier there. Dim sum, tapas, breakfast, lobsters, burritos, I would put all of those on the next tier. French fries, hot dogs, fried rice, salad. Yeah, that's a little bit trickier, but it's doable. It's doable. This is your cautionary tale. Be careful, especially with like the giant hoagie or with crab legs, which kind of has like the same issue with the wings, where you're like, it's a lot of work it's a lot of work and breaking shit and ripping shit apart and ripping meat away from it. Like, there's an inherently monstrous quality to it. It's just not as sloppy as the wings. So that's what earns, and it's more, I guess, an adventurous type of food, crab legs, rather than something that's super common like chicken wings. So it earns its C. But all of these are cautionary tales. D's are don't try it. Like soup, spaghetti, and I know Lady and the Tramp will have you think that spaghetti is a good way to go, but it's not. Like, there's too much slurping, and if you're sharing a plate, then what the fuck are you doing? Chicken wings are very messy, or not chicken wings, but the fried chicken can be very messy. It's doable in the right settings, but, you know, for the most part, it's the same problem with the wings. You're ripping meat off bones, it's super greasy, you're gonna have grease and flecks and all this other sort of stuff around you. Be careful. Shepherd's pie, I don't know where you're at where you're flirting over shepherd's pie, but, you know, tend to the sheep first. Barbecue, delicious, but also quite messy. And just enjoy your steak. Just enjoy your steak. Don't flirt. Just eat your steak. And then the F tier, avoid at all cost. Saucy hot wings for certain. And then crawfish, disgusting and monstrous to look at. And meatloaf, again, you know, where are you at where you're flirting over meatloaf? This is my list. This is my contribution to society at large. So take these words of wisdom out there and make good use of them. Keep your wing eating out of your dating life. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you liked what I said, what Justin said, if you like the content we're providing, if you had any kind of laughs at all, even if you hate us, if you hate my guts, if you want to stab me, if you want to say all sorts of horrible things to me, cool. Like the video, subscribe, you'll get fed all sorts of shit you'll probably hate, and if you like us, you'll get fed all sorts of shit you probably like. So please and thank you.